My name's Leah. I'm Andy's partner. I'm a British 800 metre runner as well. I'm supporting Andrew through his battle with follicular lymphoma. Andrew's diagnosis has been really difficult in so many ways for me personally. I've had experience of cancer in my family just in the past 2 years, which was devastating. So immediately that brought a lot of feelings back for me, and you kind of think the worst at first before we had enough information to assess the situation in isolation of my experience with cancer before. Day to day, it's been about kind of putting my feelings to one side and focusing on what is best for Andrew and what's going to give him the most successful outcome. Emotionally, that's been quite tough. I've been able to lean on my friends and family a lot for that and make sure that I am in the best headspace for Andrew as much as possible. In terms of my life, it's been also difficult because I've had to stop work, reduce a lot of my training because we haven't been able to go indoors anywhere. And at first, I didn't feel like I could train because it was just, on the back burner compared to what we were going through. For a few months, we were just completely focused on getting as much information as we could and what the next kind of 6 months of our lives were going to look like. Finding out that it was a cancer that you'd usually get in your 60s was quite tough to deal with. As Andrew mentioned, we thought at first it would be Hodgkin's lymphoma, so to find that he was completely kind of an outlier to get this cancer at this age was quite difficult because there was just no information. I would search Google young person with follicular lymphoma, nothing would come up. There was maybe 1 or 2 studies, not much information at all. It was really hard to not find much out there on Google apart from there's not a great survival rate, possibly 10 years, and if you get follicular lymphoma in your 60s and 70s, then that takes you to a good place in your life. But when you're diagnosed with it at 25, that takes you to your mid-30s and you've not lived your life at that point. There was a lot of question marks, but I felt like we had to stay calm. I always felt deep down that Andrew is a strong and fit young person, so whatever we're faced with, we'll battle it and we'll fight it and we'll deal with it. It was difficult kind of emotionally thinking about what the future would hold. Because I've wanted to be kind of my best self for Andrew, so trying to separate my emotion from my practical, I need to be strong for him. I have found kind of emotional support in my friends and through different charities, down to a place called Maggie's, which is attached to St James's Hospital, which is where Andrew gets his treatment, and that is specifically for people going through a cancer experience or partners, friends, families to get complete support in any way they want or need. Group support, individual support, speaking to psychologists, group therapy. There's even a dance class if that's the way you want to kind of deal with things and let emotion out. I went to a stress and anxiety management course for 6 weeks to try and cope with the emotions that this brought up. That was really scary, but also really supportive to me, because again, as a young person, I don't know, none of my friends are going through this. None of my friends have been through this, supporting their boyfriend who they, newly live with through a really scary time. So I had to go and search for that support myself. It was amazing. It allowed me to process my feelings in a separate space to at home with Andrew, make sure that I was coming home and able to do the work, look at the hard things, rationalise them, and give him the information he needs to know, the care he needs, and not kind of attach my anxieties and worry to supporting him. Google isn't always the best place to look, as everyone kind of knows. If you Google something, the worst comes up. I kind of went onto Facebook to look for like a different outlet, like to hear real people talking about this, because Google is just kind of an average of what everyone experiences. Finding the Living with Follicular Lymphoma Facebook group was the best source of information that we've had, and has changed our whole experience, and we've connected with so many other people through it who are going through this as well, and it's been so reassuring. It's also been scary at times seeing what can happen. Overall, it's been really supportive to both of us. So that's where I'd start. Even if it's not follicular lymphoma, even if it's a different type of lymphoma, you know, a different type of cancer completely, there are big Facebook groups out there with people just wanting to support, help, give advice, reassurance, and just to let off steam. Like if you're having a really bad day, that's somewhere you can write how you're feeling, and there will be someone who comes back saying, I'm feeling that way too. And sometimes it can be a really isolating position, a cancer experience. There's always someone in there who will respond to you and make you feel a bit better about the day you're having and what you're going through. Facebook is a great place for that. When I found the Living with Follicular Lymphoma Facebook group, I through that also found the Follicular Lymphoma Foundation. It just so happened that Andrew got diagnosed at a time where they were preparing for this fundraising campaign to find a cure. So one of the members of that group posted a link to the Follicular Lymphoma Foundation's fundraising event, and so I went on that and immediately thought, right, let's get involved, let's make a page. We have a massive community of athletes and just sporting community in general at our fingertips, with who we know, followers, people we connected with through sport. You know, let's share your story and see if anyone can help. And we never for a second thought it would do as amazingly as it did. The amount of money we raised, like, we are forever thankful to the sporting community for that, and Athletics Weekly. That mission continues, so that's what our goal of making this YouTube channel and spreading awareness of follicular lymphoma is about. It's about finding that cure. We raised an amazing amount of money this year, and the research will start into the finding a cure in January. More money will need to be raised for the following year and the following year, until hopefully within 5 or 10 years we reach the cure. We want to raise awareness, give people something that they can watch or read for some comfort if they're also going through not just a cancer experience but been diagnosed with something that's impacted their life. We want to be open with the emotions that you go through, the challenges that it brings, and you know, the difficulties not just for Andy but for everyone around him, and how it is for a partner to support someone through this at a young age. So it's not just about fundraising for a cure, it's about being raw with the experience so people can relate to it and feel supported if they need something to watch or listen to in a time of need.